Hey traders, it's Matt with CGiM, and I'm coming to you with another video on the X Factor recap. Sorry I missed last week, but I was on vacation, and I want to jump right back in and give you a look at the charts for this week, following the signals that came from the X Factor. So we'll jump into that real quick. Starting off with the Euro Yen, we had a number of signals fire away this week. I think we had a total of 9 pairs take alerts. So we're going to walk through the week just to give you a rundown, give you a total of 11.02% on the account gain if you followed each of the alerts. And we'll take a look at the Euro Yen first. As you can tell, the white vertical line, as always, or yellow depending on which color I choose, is the end of the prior week and the start of the trading week that we recap. So here it is, October 11th, where the market is opened, and we had an ongoing trade here that actually took a loss after a pretty substantially good week with Euro Yen. Took a loss here, so we're down negative 1% from the prior week as we started, and then we took an immediate short signal here right after that, only a couple hours later. You see that we did take profits eventually as the market continued our way, and we took our 1% there. And we have a current open trade on the Euro Yen running currently plus 3.09% on the pair. So pretty good risk reward there, and we'll follow this until we get an exit signal and keep going. 3.09% on the Euro Yen. Let's jump into Aussie Swiss and take a look again from the end of the week. We didn't have anything carry over, but we did jump into another short trade here. Took profits in a number of hours here, taking our first position of 1%, and you can tell we've got a really good risk to reward here as the Aussie Swiss just continue to move downward, and we're down at 4.32%, currently running an open trade there, as you can tell if we were to exit here. If you do have this trade open, you may consider exiting just because we're failing to reach any lower lows here. It's entirely up to you, as with anything that you do in your own trading. You should not just follow signals or just any specific alerts or what we say on the channel, but just kind of take your own analysis into this. We've come down here and made a point and come back up. We haven't even tested that point, and we're starting to see that smoke taper away, which tells you here that the bears are losing strength. They might continue. It might just continue down. This might go to 20 to 1. Who knows? But kind of looking at what you've got here, if you're at a 4.32% on the win side of things, and the smoke is tapering off and it's kind of going the other direction, you could consider what you want to do with this trade. But again, it's up to you. So currently on Aussie Swiss, we're running 5.32% in the green with an open trade carrying on next week. Okay, Pound Swiss. This one is usually one of our better pairs, and it just totally whipsawed us this week. Whipsaw, if you're not familiar, just means it's just this back and forth. We have these alternating signals where you'll have a buy signal that turns out to lose, then you'll have a short signal that turns out to lose, then you'll have a buy signal that turns out to lose, or back and forth where you have a win-loss, 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 and that's exactly what happened here with Pound Swiss. So just going through, you can see we took a loss here. The reason this exited, I saw some comments in the channels when I came back from vacation. This exited because Pound Swiss runs off of the Hillcrest exit. So if you know the strategy and if you've got the smoke gap indicator, you know that this actually lost some steam on the H1SG, gave us a Hillcrest presentation, so we exited the trade. It tells you to exit early in that sense because the Hillcrest exit tells you before things start to go really bad against you when to exit the trade. Most of the time, the Hillcrest exit strategy gives you the benefit of the doubt, and it will exit before you take a substantial loss. Sometimes the market just gives you some really big candles and you take a loss anyway, but that's the point of it. So this told us to exit, so we did, which is fine because we actually saved a little bit of our percentage there. So we're down negative 0.55 there and negative 1 on the whole position there. Took another short sell here with the alert. It immediately hit profits and then went right back against us. The Hillcrest exit would have come into play and we would have taken an exit here, obviously, as we did. So wiped out this win, so we take a loss of 188. Then we take a win on this next buy position and then a loss. So these wipe each other off. You can see this whipsaw action just going to town on us. You're going to get this in some of our setups with X Factor. Just when it goes in this ranging motion, it triggers the alerts and it shows that the price is starting to break out, but then it doesn't. Typically when you see something like this, I'm just going to kind of highlight this so you can see, when you have a range where you're getting these back and forth signals that follow sort of this box where you can sort of draw a box around the highs and the lows and the highs and the lows. If you can do this for any substantial period of time, which kind of did these last few weeks here, it's best to kind of stay away from the pair. And the really tough part about that is you don't want to stay away from the trade that ends up taking a 5% position. But when it's doing this multiple times, just give it a break. Even take the week off or something like that. Maybe look at other pairs that are correlated to the pair that you're looking at. But when it's doing this box here, you kind of want to steer clear of this. You don't want to get involved because it's doing the whipsaw action. It's kind of ranging, and the X Factor is not going to present itself very good. You're going to see, any of you that have been an X Factor member for quite some time, you're going to feel these moments in the week where you take about 6 trades and you win 3 and you lose 3, or you lose 4 and you win 2. It just sort of back and forth fights against you. And then eventually what will happen is pound Swiss or whatever pair, and I say will happen, we hope that it will happen, we expect it will happen sometime. It'll take a move like this where it starts to switch over and this smoke starts to change, and then it does this, and then it takes off for you. So you just kind of have to watch it a little bit, pay attention. Don't take signals just to take signals. They're there to give you recommendations on how the pairs performed best in the past, but it's certainly not any advice to take the trade. It just gives you some insight on what the pair might be doing, and you make your own decision at that point using every fact that you know, including some of the other strategies that we have. So after the whipsawing, pound Swiss has come out. We currently have a closed position. There's no running trades here, so at the end of the week we lost just under 0.5% there. All right, New Zealand dollar, this is becoming one of my favorite pairs. It is striking big time. It is, I think, typically running, we're running at 64% here with only 5% drawdown. So it is a very, very good pair. And I'm actually starting to target this one a little bit more than some of the other pairs like dollar yen. It's just been very stable in the summer months here, even with COVID and all that stuff. So if you haven't been watching New Zealand dollar, don't just start trading it, because I mentioned New Zealand dollar in some video. But pay attention to it, watch it, and watch how it reacts with X Factor, and take a peek and see what you think. So we closed after the last week. We had a really good move here. Took profits twice on that position, took profits on the position before. So we're up 0.91% from this last week trade. Now, something happened here with our labels, and there's something with TradingView where it has a certain amount of memory, and if the memory doesn't allow you enough space, essentially it won't print the labels on here. So you can see that we printed these labels, the lines for this position, we printed labels for this position, and I don't have it pulled up, but right in here at 9 p.m. my time, General Mountain Time in the United States up in the Northwest, we took a signal here. The New Zealand dollar printed a short signal that said to go short on this, and it gave us a recommended take profit and stop loss. I entered on that with both positions, and this is exactly what played out. I was getting ready to go to bed though, so I don't have a current running trade here myself. I took 2 positions here and then one slightly down here, so I took 2 winning trades. For some reason, the New Zealand dollar did not print the lines, even though the alert system told us about this here. And I'll see if I can find it. So right here it is, the New Zealand dollar, and here's a bunch of our code, but essentially it fired at October 14th at 2100 hours or 9 p.m. my time. So we got the signal right here, just as I've outlined for you, and I left this position chart on here so that you could see what it did. But it gave us a signal on the Discord channel, but for some reason didn't print the line. So kind of a weird bug in that. I've never seen that happen before, even in our back testing. So I'm going to watch it, just make sure that there's nothing going on with our labels, and I'll watch throughout the week as this prints new trades. Nonetheless, it took the trade, it gave us a good signal, which it did. I took that, and I took 2 positions there and took profit on both. So that was great there. If you're going straight off the strategy tester, though, and alerts with recommended settings, you're currently holding a position probably in the neighborhood of 3.85% on the New Zealand dollar. So let's go to the next pair. Euro dollar. This one's one of our better pairs, too. It did really good this week as well. So we took a small loss here on the last part. This was a profitable trade of about 1.3% overall, because the euro dollar is a little bit bigger than a 1-to-1. So we took profit from the last week, carried over and took almost 0.5% off here. No big deal. We immediately take our profits here, so we're 1.58%. And then we come down here, we have a current running trade open at plus 3.31% here as well. So that did well. New Zealand yen absolutely ate us alive. We had 1 position, nothing carried over from the last time, and this one's been flip-flopping on us, and it's been really, really rough the last couple of weeks. So we took an immediate loss on this long, and then we took a really great big loss on this one here. It's not very often that you take a trade that goes past this fail-safe line right here, this really, really hard to see red line. That's there to tell you that the trade has really moved against you, and it's not really following the strategy based on our coding inside the stop loss programming and stuff like that. So this tells you it's time to get out of the trade no matter what. So that's exactly what happened. We had a fail safe trigger. So we lose that right there instead of losing a little bit more, which I appreciated. But at the end of the day, nothing to be said about New Zealand yen other than it just ate us alive. So we lost 5.15% on that one. All right, pound dollar did exactly what pound Swiss did. It's just a repeat here. It's a bunch of whips on, and you can tell again just by looking at this kind of that thing that we talked about, going from the highs and the lows and sort of looking. It's just sort of in this box. It's not really moving. It's not trending or breaking out anywhere. So something to consider when you take those trades, just kind of see how the price is moving. Not sure what this is going to do. It's kind of gone stale and stagnant here. But anyway, we've got a running trade open. You can see this whipsaw action, what I've marked on the trades here. So end of the week with an open running trade, minus 0.37% there on the pound dollar. Okay, dollar Swiss. This one, again, one trade. Dollar Swiss doesn't take too many trades. Usually there's some really, really strong sentiment that has to take place with dollar Swiss for it to perform well. And we've got an alert here, but the trouble with this, unfortunately, it did alert, which is good, and the strategy tester has played out well, where this is a profitable pair when it tests. But the problem is here, as we talk about in our course and I discuss in Discord, when you have this looping, the price is absolutely going to come back and touch the smoke. It's going to test the smoke. So I was not very happy that the alert came here. I would have rather seen the alert come here, but nonetheless, I don't control what the market does, and none of us do. But you can tell when it has this looping here like this, this is not the best time to enter a trade, because it's always going to come back and test the smoke regardless. When it does test the smoke, it's either going to break through or it's going to react and continue. So a couple ways that you can trade this is, if you see the alert, give it a moment and see if you still want to enter long. The alert came right here, so you can see this big huge gap between where the alert was and the smoke. You obviously can't see all of this yet because this is hindsight, but you can see this portion here. And if you can see that, it's so far away from the smoke that you may want to give it just a minute and come back and watch it test the smoke. And then you can take a long trade if you want to continue long, or you can see if it breaks down and gives you a short trade. Either way, give it some time and use some patience to see what it's going to do. That'll avoid a losing trade here for you. So overall, we're at negative 0.16% on this because of that exact situation. Okay, and Aussie dollar basically took care of our losses on the pound Swiss. We had 2 losses straight away, and then we came into profits right away, and then we're 2.04% up on our money here, so a 3.04% trade in this 2 position. So overall, we're looking at 0.45%, and we've got a current running trade here. So we'll see what this pair decides to do, but it has kind of started to break down. You notice that there's really no box here you can draw, because if you went from prior lows and highs, you can kind of draw that box here. You see that it sort of broke out of that, so we'll see what this does. The X factor does not use like structure analysis whatsoever. It's more of a trend detection system. So we'll see what it decides to do. But open trade running 0.204%, so we're at total of 0.45 there. And that's everything. So if you guys do the math there real quick, you're positive 11.02% on the X factor for the week. Last week, starting October 11th. We'll see what this next week comes up for us. Should be a pretty interesting week with some pairs moving and some current open trades. So take a look at that. Look for your alerts coming in. If you guys haven't become members, follow the link in the description that we'll put in there for our website and for our Discord channel. You can come in and check us out. Plenty of strategies that we offer and lots of education on Forex trading. So we'll catch you there. I hope everybody trades green, and we'll see you on the next video.